Hey everyone, Matt here, and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. In the last video, we completed Chapter 15, and in today's video, we will be completing Chapter 16. We are almost at the end! Finally, after much longer than originally planned. Without anything to say beforehand, let's get started with Volume 16 of Cult and Captivation. You crash land on Alternia 16 long episodes ago. Sometimes you feel like you've been here forever. You've had many adventures and met many Alternians, some/all/none of whom have become your friends. But now, for some reason, you have a hunch that you're near the end of your Alternian travels. For one thing, you seem to be coming to the edge of the populated region you've been walking through all the time you've been here. For another, the intense craving that has animated you throughout your journey feels like it might be waning. It's not quite gone, but like a diner who's stuffed himself to bursting, but is still seeking the last sweet morsel that will make his meal complete, you're still on the prowl for the very sweetest morsel of friendship. Fozzer, Velis, and Marvus Zolotl? Zolotl, let's go with that. Let's go Fozzer. Ooh, it's slightly animated. The night has turned foggy, and you can't see far in any direction, but you seem to be surrounded on every side by bare ground, hummocked and pitted, almost like a weird abstract sculpture and covered with greenish moss. Based on the experiences you've had with Alternian flora, you imagine the moss is probably poisonous, acidic, explosive, or something of that nature. Suddenly a shadow looms up out of the darkness, making you jump, but it's only a leaning signpost. As you move closer, you can see that the sign says, "Welcome to Happy Absence Pit Park." Before you can figure out what that might be, you hear a voice muttering to itself in the fog, and a sound like dirt being shoveled. Shovel, toil and trouble, lifebloods of the world, unite! You move cautiously toward the voice until the figure of a troll emerges from the fog. He seems to be digging in the hard, bare ground. There is a tide in the affairs of trolls which, taken at the flood, leads on to the workers' paradise. You clear your throat, and the troll turns swiftly. "Who's there? Who's there, I say?" You announce soothingly that you're just a poor wayfaring stranger. Not a ghost or any nonsense like that? You confirm that you are not. Good, because I don't believe in them. I'm a dialect materialist. Well, if you're not a ghost, who are you? You explain that you're a humble alien who recently, well, not so recently, crashed on Alternia, and who's been looking ever since for... Here you blushingly trail off into a mumble. Troll snorts and comes close to stare at you. His breath is not of the freshest. An alien? Well, you are the color of cheese. Well, it could be makeup. He could be high blood in disguise. Come to watch poor little Fozzer Velis pursuing his humble profession, a pit perturbing for some unknown reason of your own. Fozzer rubs at the exposed skin of your arm to see if the makeup will come off. It doesn't, but he's still suspicious. A real alien would know what outer space is like. Describe outer space to me. You describe attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion and watching sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. You express the belief that all those moments will be lost in time like tears and rain. These authentic depictions seem to satisfy Fozzer. Nods his head and seems to think. He doesn't appear to be a fast thinker. Finally, he seems to have an idea. Do the cheese entities where you come from have a strong consciousness of class struggle? You have no idea what he's talking about, but you were always good at guessing the right answer on multiple choice tests. You assure him that the people where you come from have such a strong consciousness of class struggle that they use it to jack up their cars when they get flat tires. A big smile overspreads Fozzer's face and he pumps his fist in the air. Pleased to meet you, comrade alien. All power to the workers. I imagine that finding me performing the honest labor of the working class makes you feel right at home. You assure him it does. I suppose you wished you could share in the simple proletarian joys and sorrows of the Alternian oppressed classes. You're not sure what proletarian means, but sharing joys and sorrows sounds like a hopeful prelude to friendship. So you say you were just thinking you would like that. Jesus, you were just thinking that you would like to share that kind of joys and sorrows. Easily done, comrade. Here, take this solar perturbation lens. You can enter into solidarity with the Alternian working class right now. No, don't thank me. Freedom, brotherhood, and equality is my motto. Contact your perturbations right here, if you please. He points to where he was shoveling, and you begin shoveling there too. Plus, that covers The ground is tough as leather, and the Alternian soil is rocky, hard, and unforgiving. No surprise there. And before long, you're sweating profusely, but no exertion is too great for the pursuit of friendship. Fozzer watches you labor with brotherly satisfaction. Class solidarity is a wonderful thing, isn't it? From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. You look like a walking cheese, but your muscular development is impressive. So, just to pass the time while you labor in solidarity, what do you think of our planet? What has been your impression of it on your visit from outer space? You suppose it's no worse than a lot of places, with some good points and some bad. As a guest, it's only polite to say nice things about your host home planet. Besides, meeting Fozzer has stoked your desire for a sweet friendship morsel, and a long praise and flattery often goes a long way to make people like you. So, with the little breath you have to spare from your digging, you tell Fozzer that you found Alternia most interesting. The fierce rush of life here induces a salutary wakefulness, and boredom is virtually unknown. Also, the social structure arising from the hemospectrum and the multidimensional relationship matrix is very unusual, producing a fascinating array of possible interactions among people. You are looking forward to the day when you can tell your grandchildren about it. Fozzer doesn't look as pleased as you would hope. So you find Alternia agrees with you. Oh yes, very much, you pant. You find it interesting and fascinating. Definitely! To you, the spectacle of those who happen to have been born with certain blood colors exploiting and oppressing those who have not is just a picturesque detail. Well, you wouldn't go so far as to... You find nothing objectable in a society where the strong kill the weak at will, based on nothing more than the color of a bodily fluid, where the upper classes see the lower as little more than inanimate objects whose only purpose is to serve them, where the whole corrupt society is structured solely to breed cannon fodder for a psychotic empress's mad plan to conquer the entire galaxy, more peoples to oppress. That certainly wasn't what you... While the streets run with rust orange and gold blood, you stand unconcernedly and remark how interesting and fascinating Alternia is. While the fish people and their bluish lackeys strike the pap from the mouths of low-blood wrigglers, you smile pleasantly and remark how unusual Alternia is. Certainly not, but one can't judge other cultures by one's own. Oh, you can't dodge your class responsibility that way, you cur. You so-called intellectuals try to hide your fawning servility to the bosses by pretending to view society objectively without moral judgments, when all the time you're simply crypto-imperialist lapdogs. And you come to the happy absence pit park pretending solidarity with the oppressed. Pshaw! I see now that you're nothing but a cat's paw of the oppressor class. Nothing but a cheese-colored Judas Iscariot sent as a spy, traitor, bootlicker, sycophant, murderer, monopolist, profiteer, slave trader, cannibal, parasite, technocrat, gangster, ectoplasm. No, you try to object, but Fozzer seizes the shovel from you and turns away. Turncoat, knock, double-crosser, weasel, hijacker, vulture, Visigoth, breathalyzer. You watch his back recede into the fog, your heart sinking with the wreck of your hopes and dreams for friendship. Game over. Damn. Well, once more into the fray. It's by far the worst place you've ever seen or heard of! Feeling comes over you suddenly then that nothing can be more important than truth. Truth is at the foundation of all real friendship. Truth sets you free. Honesty is the best policy. So you take a deep breath and say you hope you won't give offense, but that, in your opinion, Alternia is the nastiest, ugliest, cruelest, most inhospitable, and most unfair place you have ever seen or heard of in a long life of travel and study. Even the plants are bloodthirsty. Even the soil is hard and mean. You've made some/many/no friends here, but you've heard it's also possible to make friends with lions, bears, killer whales, and other wild and dangerous creatures. In fact, often here on Alternia, you felt that you've been locked in a cage with a bunch of such wild and dangerous creatures. As you've talked, you've been watching Fozzer anxiously for signs of anger. You're surprised to see that, instead, he seems to be loving it. And what about our political system? You've already put your foot in, so you go ahead and put the other one in too. You express the opinion that a violent, rigidly stratified, insectile social structure created solely to generate soldiers for a mad project to conquer the entire galaxy might raise eyebrows in some quarters. You admire natural selection and survival of the fittest as much as the next person, but this is overkill on a titanic scale. As you've been speaking, Fozzer's smile has grown wider and wider, and he's shown other signs of approval, such as jumping up and down and rolling around. He pumps his fist in the air. Forward to perfect socialism! It's so good to talk with someone who hasn't been hypnotized from regularhood with counter-revolutionary pap, someone who sees conditions on Alternia for what they really are, who sees the evils of the High Bloods, someone who will march in the vanguard of the workers' revolution to face unflinchingly the onslaught of the aristocracy, perhaps, nay, probably, to die in a hail of bullets, but never turn their back on the people. Oh, let me embrace you, comrade alien. He does so. He's oily and smells like mossy soil and poor ooze. But this does not dampen your spirits. What better preamble for making a suggestion of friendship? Agreeing with people about politics never fails to bring friendship closer. Before you can bring it up, Fozzer, having first kissed you on both cheeks, continues. But we mustn't allow our celebration of the People's Revolution to interfere with the honest labor that ennobles us. I'm holding you back from your ticket to the workers' paradise. Please proceed with your soil perturbation. Perturbation. I don't fucking know anymore. All power to the people. Death to the arbitrary homospectral discrimination. Forward, comrade. He waves his hand with a flourish, and you start digging again. You wonder if it would be just as revolutionary if you traded places with Fozzers. Traded places so Fozzer could do the digging and you could do the speechifying, but you don't wish to disturb the perfect harmony now existing between the two of you. Instead, you use your little available breath to inquire what all this soil perturbation is in aid of. Why, a coal pit, of course. Didn't you see the sign? This is the Happy Absence Pit Park, Fozzer Valley's proprietor. Alternia's reactionary tradition is to just put dig coal pits anywhere without a second thought. But our revolutionary future demands that we have more respect for the dead, so I've created this wonderful innovation, the Pit Park, a graveyard. There's a clown concert being held not far from here, so I anticipate a brisk demand shortly. Best to be ready for these things. Having a lot of dead clowns lying around rotting on the property is unpleasant, not to mention unsanitary. Get them underground pronto is our motto here at the Happy Absence Pit Park. You're wondering privately whether a little class solidarity can be extended to Purple Bloods, remembering your dear friend Cargo Pirate when Fozzer seems to give a jump. No, that's not ghosts. Grateful for an excuse to stop digging, you turn to look in the direction Fozzer is staring, leaning on your soil perturbation lance. You don't see anything but fog. You ask what is not ghost. Nothing is. I'm a dialectical materialist, and if any ghosts come around the Happy Absence Pit Park, they should be aware that I won't believe in them, so they might as well go somewhere else. You confess that you don't see anything but foggy darkness and humped and pitted ground, where you now guess piles of cold Alternians' exoskeletons are buried in the coal pits. You don't see any ghosts because there's no such thing, but past few nights, I thought I saw beams of light shining up out of the ground. Almost as if, metaphorically of course, some of the exoskeletons in the coal pit had gotten hold of some flashlights and were shining them up through chinks in the soil. Look, there it is again! Oh my god. This time you see it, a column of light that flashes up through the fog and is gone, seeming to come from a crack in the ground, which it briefly illuminates in blinding white. Fascinated, you move toward the crack, which is now dark and invisible again. What are you doing? You look at Fozzer in surprise. He seems terrified. You ask tactfully whether he doesn't think you ought to see what it is. For example, it could be some infrastructure malfunction that could blow the Happy Absence Pit Park and all of its inhabitants, living and dead, sky high. You're not even sure they have infrastructure in Alternia, but one can't be too careful. Well, maybe you're right. We all feel this revolutionary cadres, after all. You hear his teeth chattering. You move toward where you think the flash came from. Fozzer close behind you, peering over your shoulder. You can't help wondering where he'll be when the vanguard of his revolution is braving hails of bullets. You very much hope that his revolution, if it ever comes, won't happen while you're around. Just then, a whole series of lights flash silently up from the ground, making columns through the fog. Fozzer jumps and howls behind you. Non-existent! You tell him that undoubtedly a logical explanation. There's undoubtedly a logical explanation, though you have to admit that you had a weird feeling just now when the lights appeared, like a momentary dizziness or feeling of discontinuity. but you're more curious than ever now, murmuring comforting things to Fozzer. You start digging right around where the lights you just saw came from. Then it's weird, because you break through some kind of thin crust, as if the soil in that particular place is just a few inches thick over a brittle surface that your shovel goes right through like old pottery. You wonder whether you've inadvertently dug into an old coal pit. But what would bright light be doing coming from an old coal pit? But in some weird way, it doesn't feel like a coal pit. It feels like something metaphysical. Like reality itself is particularly thin right in that spot, and you've broken through the very fabric of it with your soil perturbation lance. You dig around the edges of the hole, enlarging it until it's about a foot wide. The darkness within makes the darkness of the Alternian night seem bright by comparison. It's so dark that the soil falling into it and the part of your soil perturbation lance poking into it seem to vanish completely, as if on the other side of that hole reality itself gives out. You and Fozzer stare curiously down into this hole. Suddenly a blinding but strangely blank light bursts up out of the hole into your faces, and at the same time there's a deafening sound which seems to vibrate the very framework of reality, like a gigantic needle scratching a gigantic record. You're standing in the foggy night holding a soil perturbation lance that has been handed to you by Fozzer Velius. He points to where he's just been digging, and you begin digging in the same spot. The moss that covers the ground is tough as leather, and the Alternian soil is rocky, hard, and unforgiving. No surprise there. And before long, you're sweating profusely. But you feel strange, like you were just standing somewhere else, doing something else, seeing something else. The after images of a blinding light and a deafening sound seem to linger in your eyes and ears, but around you is nothing but dark fog and bare ground humped and pitted. You must have had a dizzy spell. You shake it off, begin perturbing the soil. No exertion is too great for the pursuit of friendship, after all. Fozzer watches you with satisfaction. Honest work is a wonderful thing. All out of the old regime, eh? You look like a walking cheese, but your muscular development is impressive. What do you think of our planet? What has been your impression of it on your visit? It's by far the worst place you've ever heard of! The feeling comes over you suddenly that nothing can be more important than the truth. Truth is at the foundation of all real friendship. Truth sets you free. Honesty is the best policy. So you take a deep breath and hope that you won't give offense. Whoa. No doubt you could have anticipated that blunt honesty like this would give offense. Indeed, it seems to have done so. As you finish your remarks, Fozzer is frowning darkly. So you've come to Alternia as an uninvited guest only to criticize and judge our civilization, eh? No! You know enough about our society, our billions of years of evolution, and our painstaking rise from mud-dwelling insectile ancestors, the political and sociological theories of our statesmen, philosophers, and scientists to make those judgments, do you? Well, no doubt you've done studies establishing what would happen if the hemospectrum groups were placed in different relations to one another. If, for example, rust bloods were the highest group and fuchsia bloods the lowest? Oh, no, but I suppose your planet is so similar to Alternia that you have a firm basis on which to apply your preconceptions to us. Not at all, but... And surely you aliens are similar enough biologically and physically... psychologically to trolls to know how we feel about our own society? I thought not. I guessed from the very first that you were nothing but a dilettante faux socialist pseudo-intellectuals spouting your ivory tower theories without the least idea what you were talking about. Well, smarty pants alien, I suggest you take your cheese-like person and your theories home to your own planet. It won't be long before Most High Imperial Condescension conquers your arm of the galaxy so that we Alternians can return the favor by standing in judgment over your society and politics. In the meantime, I bid you good Siderum. And with that, Fozzer Velius seizes the soil perturbation lance, as well as your hopes and dreams, and stalks off into the foggy night. Game over. Damn! Well, once more into the fray. You suppose it's no worse than a lot of places, with some good points and some bad. As I guess it's only polite to say the nice things about your host home planet. Besides, being Fozzer is stuck to your desire for a sweet friendship morsel, and a little praise and flattery often goes a long way to make people like you. As you're speaking, a satisfied smile overspreads Fozzer's face. I'm glad you recognize the nobility of our ancient society, with its orderly hierarchy and naturally evolved degrees of privilege reflecting naturally evolved degrees of ability. You're pleased that your words have met with approval, but you're still a little troubled. You have an odd deja vu sensation that this whole exchange could have gone quite differently. Maybe even did go quite differently sometime in the past or in some parallel universe. You inquire timidly whether the total domination of lower bloods by the higher on a journey doesn't sometimes feel like oppression. Never! I myself am only a rust blood, so I lack the privileges of the higher blood. But the most important thing for society is that everyone should be in their appointed place and do the things they're suited for. If all the passengers in a rowboat keep their seats and row in the same direction, the boat will quickly reach its destination. When the passengers all jump up and start running around and grabbing the other's oars, the boat will capsize and all will be lost. You remark diplomatically that Alternia isn't a rowboat rowing toward a destination. You're wrong! A planet is very much like a rowboat advancing through the black water of space. And as for our destination, all of us on Alternia aim at but a single goal every hour of every day, to serve her most high imperial condescension and conquering our glorious galaxy-wide empire. Long live the Empress! Well, you suppose the sense of being part of something larger than yourself makes up for a line. It does! Naturally evolved systems are almost always more robust than officially designed ones. They are! And it's true that Alternia's social structure does bring some semblance of order to a collection of 12 disparate troll subtypes. It is! Fozzer beams at you fondly. There's nothing that warms the heart like someone who thinks you're right about everything. It's so wonderful to find someone, even someone who looks like a piece of cheese, who is so intelligent and understands society and politics so perfectly. Finally, a true friend. Victory! And nothing bad happened at all. No doubt about it. Alright, and now into the B side of this record. And going with Marvus. Marvus Zolato. You find yourself ambling down the road without any particular destination in mind. It seems you don't have to do much active searching to land yourself in varying combination of adventure and / or disaster. Where will the vicissitudes of fate next lead you? Who knows? You walk for a while like that. You've just about lost all hope of running into a wacky contrivance when your palm husk lights up with the delightful and or foreboding sound of friendship. Someone is calling you. You're less excited to see that the person who happens to be calling you is Zebra. It's not that you dislike Zebra, precisely. It's just that you might struggle to rank him above literally any other troll you've met, including the yellow guy who loves genocide. But you're not one to leave a friend hanging. You dutifully answer the call. Ah, my good friend, you picked up! Awfully quickly, I might add. Yeah, you love friendship. You ask Zebra why he's calling. Do I need a reason to call? Is the thrill of dialectical repose not cause enough to make social contact with one of my dearest adversaries / friend, or maybe more depending on whatever you feel comfortable with and interested in at any given point in time? You have no idea how to even respond to that. I'm just fucking with you. I stand to incur material gain from your association. I need you to stay right where you are. Well, what are you going to do? Hang up? You stand right where you are and stay on the line. You ask what Zebra is up to, but he won't say. Tells you he needs to concentrate. Eventually, you notice a strange shape resolving in the distance down the road, drawing nearer slowly but steadily. After a while longer of waiting, the figure in the distance grows close enough for you to tell that's Zebra. Oh, that's you say. It looks like he's riding on some kind of incredibly cursed hover Segway. Yeah, I'm coming, sweetie. You would say it takes maybe 15 minutes or so for him to make it the entire way over on his hover scoot. There you are! Impressed by my new ride? Oh yeah, you say. You're very impressed. I knew you would be. I brought it out because tonight is a very special night. Or it will be, if you'd be so kind as to make me the happiest troll on Alternia. Is he, like, proposing to you? What? Never mind. You ask him what he's vague blogging about. What indeed? The real question of what are you doing this evening? Well, it's not like you've ever had any plans to do anything besides stupidly bumble into one ludicrous boondoggle after another. Seems like whatever he's alluding to inviting you to probably fits the bill for being included in your long itinerary of unspecified dumbass bullshit you were bound to get embroiled in anyways. Fantastic! Well, it just so happens that I managed to get my hands on 2 tickets to Clownfest Rex. And I thought, who better to take along than my dearest alien associate of unspecified nature? You have no idea what Clownfest XX Rex is, but it's not off to a good start with the name. Oh, I should have known you wouldn't be familiar with it. It's a little sophisticated for an off-world reprobate such as yourself. It's a music festival centered around purple blood performers. Now, normally I wouldn't travel with high blood entertainment, disgustingly oppressive as it is. But when you think about it, aren't clowns the most disprivileged class of them all? Yeah, sure, man. Definitely. You don't ask him to explain what he means by that, because everyone would be really angry reading it. Agreed, toss your medium moral body into a clown pit to get moshed to death or whatever. I knew you'd be there for me. Alright, let's go. Zebra invites you to hop onto the back of his scooter so you can head out to Clownfest. You say you're not sure this is the most effective avenue of locomotion. Zebra tells you it's all the rage and not to be a little bitch about it. So let me tell you a little about my plans for tonight. Feels like the scooter is going even slower than it was when he arrived, now that it's struggling under the weight of 2 people. You see, my favorite rhyme juggler on the planet is going to be there tonight. His name is Marvus. You might have heard of him. He's pretty famous. You say you've never heard of him, because you're an alien. Oh, right. Well, he's only the best in all of Arternia. He came up a few sweeps back when he won first place on Slammer Get Cold. Oh, please tell me you at least know about Slammer Get Cold. You not know about Slammer Get Cold. Well, it's a bi-sweeply reality program where aspiring slam poets compete to prove who has what it takes. It's really cutthroat stuff. I mean, I think there are at least 5 decapitations this season. Competition is about skill, no matter the blood color of who's competing. The troll who wins is the troll who has the nastiest flow and the dopest bars. Everyone has an equal shot. I mean, sure, a high blood has won every season to date, but it's basic biology that clowns are better at rhyming than everyone else. Even if high bloods were low bloods, that would still be true. That's equality, baby. Yeah, makes sense. You think this is really progressive stuff he's saying. Where could he have possibly gotten so educated and smart? Oh, you flatter me. Anyway, as you know, I'm deeply connected in the music industry. But because of oppressive emo spectrum systems, I'm afraid I'm only truly afforded downward mobility. The clown sphere is a really insular, close-knit community. But with the right hustle, I'm going to break that glass ceiling. Marvus is the perfect troll to bring me into that fold. You say that this guy sounds pretty brutal. Are you sure you want to actually meet this clown? What, Marvus? Ha! I mean, sure, he does what he needs to survive. He does what he needs to survive in a rigidly ossified power system that could never truly be dismantled by the actions of a single individual, but that doesn't mean that he supports it. Contrary to what you might think, Marvus is a speculatory, subversive figure in the industry. If you listen to his music, really listen, you'll hear some borderline revolutionary stuff. I think he'd tear it all down if he could. I might have mentioned it, but being a clown is kind of woke. That's why I've always wanted to probe the think pan of his. Really get to the bottom of his radical praxis and help spread his message of social reform to the masses. And you're going to help me do it. After 4 hours of scooting in one excruciating, detailed, unbroken account of the events of the past 3 seasons of Slammer Get Cold, you arrive at Clownfest XX Rex. Clownfest feels more like a circus than your idea of a music festival. In the distance is a wide, open field dotted with the disorganized masses of people, all gathered before a nightmare stage you presume to be the site of the evening's main event. The entrance to the festival grounds opens up into something of a parking lot, filled with whimsical tents and people selling various snacks and refreshments. You see a clown juggling what looks like at least 7 hot dogs. Absolutely ghoulish. You're glad Damien isn't here to see this. Zebra brings you up to the gates, flashes your tickets, and gets you wristbanded and admitted to the festival grounds. Seems like there's still some time before the performance is slated to start. There are some spectators already gathered in the field, but those more privileged blood casts are lined up around the tents and in the lot to buy food and merchandise. While you walk around the festival grounds, you ask Zebra what exactly he has planned. What could you possibly do to get him in good with the clowns? Zebra takes it as an invitation to whisper conspiratorially into your ear. His breath is hot and heavy against your hearing canal. Here's the plan, my sweet little rust drop. We get in, wait for the show to start, and then when Marvus comes onto the stage, really gets into his act, you're going to jump the barricade and rush the stage. Or at least, you're going to try. Of course, I'm going to stop you. I'll tackle you before you make it to the stage, and I'll call you right in front of Marvus and everybody. Oh, calm down. I'm trying to tear down the stereotypes that lowbloods are all simple-minded dullards, and you aren't doing your people any favors by reinforcing the cause for prejudice. Okay. I'm sorry, your people? Obviously, I'm not going to really kill you. You'll simply pretend to play dead after I've heroically foiled your black designs on Marvus. My actions will firmly place me within Marvus' Ashen Quadrant, so he'll have no choice but to recognize me. And then, the clowns will see what a hero I am and praise me and bring me backstage to reward me. It's really a flawless plan, my dear. If you just do what you're told, nothing will go wrong. Before you can proffer any critique of this caper, the jovial clamor of chatting and revelry surrounding you is pierced by a rising chorus of blood-curdling shrieks. You whip around to discern the source of the dreadful sound, but it becomes quickly apparent that those were not screams of pain at all. You know what's up when Zebra joins in with the ear-splitting squeals. That's him! It's the man of the hour himself, an expensively dressed juggalo, is making his way through the crowds, flanked by a robust team of hulking indigo bloods. Every aspect of him telegraphs unimaginable celebrity. The purposely disheveled yet fashionable fit of his clothes, the swagger of his step, the tan-man camera crew trailing behind him. He walks with a measured poise despite the chaos rising around him. Dozens and dozens of young trolls are flinging themselves at his entourage without any apparent concern for their safety. Bodyguards are roundhouse kicking the eager teens into the ground left and right like a bloody blunder of adolescent aliens. It's pure carnage. He really knows how to draw a crowd, doesn't he? Sigh. A minute ago, it was tough to truly grasp the hype, but after seeing him in person, you don't know what it is, but this swaggy clown has an undeniable gravitas that commands the attention of everyone around him. It's impossible to look anywhere else. Even the alternating moonlight seems to endeavor to glint off his golden accoutrements twice as bright. But he's gone just as quickly as he arrived. Up to the festival stage to set up his act, he leaves a bloody void in his wake. Zebra is bouncing on the balls on his feet following the encounter. He clearly can't wait to get up into the pit. And to be honest, neither can you. What is it about a good clown that's so utterly irresistible? Zebra takes you up to the field spread out before the stage. There are thousands and thousands of trolls already standing around, ready for the show to start. From the looks of the crowds in the back breaking down their tents, they have been rustbloods camping out for days to secure their spots. But even those hard-won locations are much further to the back than where Zebra is leading you. There aren't many high bloods here by comparison, so Zebra is able to take you to walk right in, muscle past all those ceruleans, and grab a spot by the barricade with maybe 5 minutes to spare before the show starts. There are some roadies up on the stage now dashing around to finalize all the equipment arrangements. Oh shoot, do you remember to bring your concert diaper? Excuse you? Zebra turns to you with wide eyes. You're awfully close together now, boxed in by the swell of trolls pushing your bodies closer and closer to the stage. You know, your concert diaper. You don't actually know. You don't have a single clue about your concert diaper. You ask him if he's wearing his concert diaper. Past the front of his pants, which you notice are looking a bit plumper than usual. Of course. You can't just come to one of these things without a concert diaper. Things in the pit can get pretty intense, bro, and you can't leave to use the load gate after it starts. I mean, you're really going to regret not bringing your concert diaper. So is everyone around us. Ugh! Before you can even attempt to formulate a response to that, the crowd breaks into thunderous cheering. Your heart skips a beat as you look up, but of course, the clown who's clambering up to the center of the stage isn't him. Marvus is clearly too hot to blow on the first act. All the same, people are real fired up over this raggedy juggalo. He seems like a serviceable clown, you suppose. He's got enough gold chains and is ruthlessly swaggy. He gets bumping, drops a few bars. It's fine, you guys, but he's not your clown. You know the moment you laid eyes on Marvus that he was the only clown your heart would ever be able to see again. Zebra leans into your ear and has to yell to be heard over the sounds of the music and the crowd. I've never much liked Rapstus Slammy's work, to be honest. Sure, the beats are produced well, but he has a very insipid sense of lyricism. Trizus clam this. Trizus in Jesus. Words, military might that. Wait, get it, you want to harpoon the Harris! Who doesn't, honestly? We don't need to hear about it all day! A solid 15 minutes of mildly provocative slams later, and old Slamsy is thinking off backstage. As soon as he's gone, a new gesture takes the floor. If you wanted to get into the music, it proves difficult. Every new act they bring onto the stage is immediately followed by a hollering earful of Zebra's scathing critiques. You wonder why he's so fixated on getting in good with this gaggle of urban farcures. If he thinks so little of their technical and artistic merits to begin with. As you stand lean sweatily against the barricade, you're starting to wonder if it's all worth it. Could the sight of a single rapping man really outweigh all the physical and psychic agony of waiting and standing and stewing in the heat of the pit? Will you have just endured nearly 3,000 words of hanging out with Zebra for something that will ultimately let you down? But as the penultimate clown trundles off the set, the taste of the air changes. The lights on the stage go dark. The booming sound system goes quiet, and a tremendous hush falls over the crowd. You feel your heart stop in that silence. You know down to your bones that this is the moment you've been waiting for. From Sea Dweller to Rustblood, nobody moves. The sound of his light footsteps against the darkened stage could only be audible to someone as close as you. The anticipation swallows you whole. When the floodlights snap back on and illuminate his astounding figure center stage, you feel it. Though yet of modest stature, the lanky juggalo has the presence of a man of a million feet tall. He radiates, a power the likes of which you've never felt before. You feel him inside of you intimately, religiously, indelibly. Yes, this is it. This is your clown. Then he opens his mouth to utter what feels like the most important words you've ever heard in your life. Hey. All hell breaks loose. Everyone is screaming around you. You grip tight on the barricade as you stare up at him, glowing, messianic, arms outstretched to drink in the zealous fervor of the crowd, all enticed by a single, incredibly powerful word. Hey, God, you'll never forget it. What up, guys? Well, you jerks ready to cook? You can't help it. You start screaming. You're so fucking ready. Well, these buddies be baking beans. Shiz. Any of y'all forget your concert diapers because it's rank out there. Feel wrecked by shame. How can you forget your concert diaper? You'll never be so foolish again. But it's alright. I'm freshening things up, you hear me? Zebra takes hold of your hand and squeezes it tight. You appreciate the gesture. God, he's so fucking beautiful. You understand. You feel deeply, utterly devastated to know how far out of your grasp he is. Why would a man like that ever even look at you? There's no way someone so tremendous, so magnificent, so extravagant would waste his time offering his friendship to someone as insignificant as you. But as desolating as that feeling may be, you aren't ready to put him out of your life just yet. Maybe there are other ways you can be close to him. Listen to his music, follow him wherever he goes, dedicate your life to him. You want to know everything about him that you can. Maybe in this way you can honor him, befriend him in your own heart, if not his. Is a love one-sided any less beautiful? When the music at last starts to blast through the speakers, you ascend. The pain in your legs and your back disappear. You feel nothing but streaming euphoria. You thank the forces of serendipity for guiding you to the glorious epiphany of this beatific singularity. This shows nothing to scoff at either. You, a highly discerning individual known to frequently make posts online regarding the quality of rap and whether or not those who purport to possess such ability to do, in fact, have the requisite bars, are fully blown away by the act. It's really good stuff. He's just really going in hard. It's some really good stuff. He's just really going in hard and hot with those raps. Not that intensity is the sole barometric of the quality of hip-hop. The fire that Marvus is dropping is a broad contemporary performance that would equally satisfy any aficionado or of any relevant subgenre. Not a single thing about him is even slightly racist. You're really starting to get into the zone when Zebra starts to scream in your ear again. You are already going deaf from the concert as it was. I think it's about time to get this show on the road, don't you? No fucking way! Are you kidding, you say? There's no way you're going to vault over that barricade and try to make an attempt on Marvus' life. Fake or not. For one thing, that plan is fucking stupid, and you'd immediately die. Second of all, Marvus is a beautiful artist with the soul of a true poet, and you're not going to help anyone attempt to exploit his celebrity for selfish purposes. You conclusively inform Zebra that he'll have to find someone else to help him hoodwink sweet Marvus. What's that? I can't hear you over all the incredibly vicious and beautiful rapping! You tell Zebra that you're not doing it. You just want to listen to the rest of the concert and enjoy yourself. Zebra seems horribly taken back. What? But I thought we were friends. You reassure Zebra that you are friends, but affirming a friendship doesn't necessarily require one to embark upon a ludicrous suicide pact in order to socially hornswoggle rhythmically gifted Mary Andrew. You're hardly Thelma and Louise. Get real. You tell Zebra he needs to find someone else to help him cozy up to the clown's inner circle. Zebra harumphs, offended, and decides to go. He starts to push away through the crowd down the length of the barricade. With that, you're free to turn your gaze back to his mirthful eminence and embrace the new piece you have found in his artwork. But Marvus only keeps distributing dope, and the crowd only gets rowdier. Before you know it, you find yourself being wrenched into the writhing mass, jostled about and subsumed by the transcendent power of the music. Your pitiful little body becomes nothing but a note in its wicked symphony, a raindrop washed away in the rapids. Some time ago, you might have accepted your fate here and allowed yourself to be trampled by the mob, but you have something to live for now. Even as you feel yourself begin to physically break, those sick beats tether you spiritually to the mortal world. His ruthless bars cut through the heat and the sweat and the heavy stench of piss and meat, drawing you like a sailor to the siren's song. Not even death could wrench you free of his grasp. In spite of the odds, you manage to muscle your way back up to the fore. You exit the mosh pit a shattered mess, bruised, battered, and broken, hanging on only by the most tenuous of threads. As you look around you, you get a glimpse of your fate. You're surrounded on all sides by trolls who have collapsed and been trampled dead, faces frozen in a rictus of ecstasy. Given how lightheaded you feel, you aren't long for this world either, but you can carry on a bit further, for him. Why, it's really something else. That Marvus, you think, as your wasted body slumps against the barricade. It's all you can do to lift your weak head and stare up at him, drinking in his boundless audio-visual wonder as your vision starts to blur and your consciousness begins to fade. ... Well, several dots. ... You shake back to your senses when you feel something splashing over your face. Whoa, Jesus! You cast around wildly for the source of the water. To your disbelief, you see that it was Marvus. He's standing at the edge of the stage, gyrating his hips to the choreography as he looks down at you in concern. It's like staring into the groin of an angel. He waits for a break in his verse to cover his mic and mouth to you. Yo, buddy, you aight? You can't believe how gracious he is. To see a humble fan such as yourself in pain and stop to make sure you're okay. Is this real or have you passed on to heaven after all? Your gaze treks up from his well-proportioned crotch to the generous view offered by the plunging neckline of his shirt. You're all right now, and you've never been more right in your life. Marvus jumps off the stage into the impassable purgatory that separates it from the pit, the gods from the mortals, and makes his way over to you. He stretches out his hands. Hey, babe, wanna dance? Your broken bones are no obstacle. Instinct propels you over the barricade and into his arms. He catches you like you've both been waiting your entire lives for this moment. You've never felt more warm or safe. Skips you up with his incredible strength and carries you back onto the stage. Marvus is talking into his mic again, so his words reverberate through the entire field. Look what we got here! Seems like a fucking low blood cut to the front of the line, my friends, lol. The remainder of the crowd that's still conscious boos viciously. What? What's happening? Oh, you're clearly bleeding red from being stomped in the face several times in the mosh pit, and in the murky lights of the stage it looks awfully burgundy. Heh, someone's been naughty. Yes, you've been so naughty, you say into the mic. No remorse, for damn shame. The crowd jeers. Well, we clearly got a criminal on our damn hands. What do you think I should do with him? Any opinions? The response is disjointed, but still functionally unanimous. Amongst the clamor, one word keeps ringing out clearly. Kill! 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 Oh, y'all want me to kill him? Whoop. Shit, that's brutal. Well, I ain't want to let down my fans, you hear me? Justice be fucking done, my merry men. What better way to cap off a wicked night than with a little gutter blood shower, lol. Well, you're hardly qualified to question Marvus's judgment. If what he wants is to publicly execute you in front of a crowd of his adoring fans, you guess that's how it has to be. You surrender completely as Marvus directs the stagehands to help him erect some sort of makeshift crucifix. You don't struggle as he carries you over and ties you up, suspended above the crowd. As all the spotlights shine on you, burning hot, the audience's rapturous screams deafen you. But all you see is Marvus approaching you, ringed in otherworldly light. His back is to the crowd, so you are the only one who can see his face like this. Intense, focused, merciless. A case meant only for you. You've never felt more special. He steps up before you, face to face. You stare into his eyes, enthralled. Such clear eyes. So potent and beautiful. Your only regret is that you can't gaze into them for longer. Marvus takes hold of his cane and, in a fluid motion, draws out its rapier-sharp hidden blade. The metal glints 1,000 colors in the light of the stage, almost as awesome as he is. You hope he strikes true. Yours will be a magnificent death. And then, he winks. A fleeting moment of understanding passes between you. Could it be that Marvus is the friend you've been searching for after all? Oh, is it a fool's flight of fancy to dream so? He draws in close, rearing up as if to strike, and as he raises his blade, his jacket lifts up too, exposing his vulnerable clown face. If you leaned in just now, maybe, just maybe you could. No, I don't care. I'll do the achievement later. I'm not doing it now. Respect yourself. Marvus brings down the blade. It sinks deep into the wood beside your neck. This was no accident. A gesture so powerful surely would not miss. He's sparing your life. You're so humble that your bladder evacuates on the spot. Your urine is as hot on your legs as Marvus's gaze is on your face. You really wish that you thought to bring your concert diaper. Marvus gives you a look and then glances pointedly at his cane sword. You take the hint and make an exaggerated reaction that you've just been stabbed for real. You grab at your neck, sputtering, flailing. The high bloods right at the front can tell you haven't really been stabbed, and they're a little disappointed, but it's not as clear to the trolls further back. Somewhere around the massive teal bloods, the illusion really hits home. They start going fucking bonkers back there. The apeshit wave travels back to the burgundies, and then ricochets back to the high bloods. You crack one eye open as you play dead. This time, it's nothing like the controlled moshing during the performance. This is pure anarchy, a whirlwind of death and brutality. Trolls are at each other's throats, literally ripping each other apart with fang and claw. All the blood spraying into the air makes the humidity really skyrocket. At some point, when the racket becomes less than melodic, yes. The clowns all come out for a final encore to drown out the sounds of the screaming. They start wrapping up a real storm. After about 45 seconds, a full 2/3 of the crowd are completely dead on the ground. The performance finally ends once every single troll in the crowd has collapsed from either from death or exhaustion. Only once the audience has worn itself out do the clowns call it quits. They all start filing backstage, but for Marvus, who stops to take you down from the cross. Your beloved clown cradles you in his arms like the Pieta, gently petting your blood-spattered face. You hang in there, fam? You tell him yes while continuing to play dead. You don't want to follow his ruse. Okay, gravy. He picks you back up and carries you off the stage. The clowns have a little green room set up in the backstage venue where they're all mixing and relaxing after their show. Nobody seems concerned to see Marvus carrying in a 90% dead alien, or particularly rattled after witnessing thousands of trolls savagely cannibalize each other either. Hey, you want a Sandy? A what? A Sando. You're sorry? Grub bread. You say yeah, sure, you're pretty hungry. Marvus drops you off on a couch and you lounge indulgently as you wait for him to walk to the catering table and pick you some up. He's back quickly. Think you can move your arms and nothing, buddy? You say not really? You're pretty sure all your bones are basically obliterated. Ah, jeez, that's rough. Sorry, man. Guess that's my fault. Lol. Okay, say ah. You don't even question it. You obey him unthinkingly. Ah! You nearly choke when he kneels beside you kneels beside you and starts pressing broken off pieces of grub sandwich past your trembling lips. Tears well up at the corners of your eyes. How could someone like you be so lucky to touch and be held by the closest thing on this mortal plane to a god? You're sure there are thousands, millions of trolls out there who would die to get to experience anything like this. It's humbling. What did you do to deserve this? You're so weak from the concert that even moving your jaw is hard, and your star-stricken sobbing doesn't help either. Whenever a sloppy bit of corrupt paste filling dribbles down your chin, Marvus is right there to catch it and shove it back into your eager maw. He makes unyielding eye contact with you as he allows you to suck the maggoty meal from his fingers. You tell him he's beautiful. A lot of people say that. I don't know about all that, though. I'm just a humble rhyme juggler with a lot of cash money and 10 guys filming. What I'm doing right now? When you're finished eating your sandwich, Marvus kindly wipes all the mess off your face. He's so gracious, you can't believe it. You're so glad the camera crew is here to capture all of this so you can watch it and relive the experience of receiving his kindness again later. I guess you need an answer to the question, when did Marvus decide to save you? Marvus takes a moment to think on it. Well, I guess I saw the guy you was with. I was like, shit, what a sorry motherfucker. You know that might be bad news, fam, lol. What? Zebra? No way, Zebra's your friend. All your friends are cool. Dan, cause that's raw. You okay? You sick? You real friends with that Ding Dong? You know he blacklisted all the fucking way out in Clown Town. What? Really? Why? He's just a social climber, man. That big blue buddy be a fucking parasite. And he's blacklisted? By all clowns? He doesn't seem to know that. Well, we ain't about to go and tell his chatty ass. I'm gonna go and write a wicked nasty review about my bands. So we be looking out for ourselves. Us clowns real close knit, you know? Taking care of each other and all that shiz. You feel me? You know, if you think about it, clowns really are the most disprivileged socio-economic class. You've really thought about that, and it's making more and more sense recently. You'd love to engage in nuanced discourse with him about clown privilege or the lack thereof. Yeah, cause though we nominally occupy a position of structural power in the institutional hierarchy of the emo spectrum, we'd be subjugated into dampening our powers like no other, because the agents of the Empress and her abyssal hierarchy know that the unimpeded strength of me and my sick nasty buddies would easily unseat sea dwellers as dominant caste, and a purple blood be objectively superior to violent every metric of strength, power, and influence despite chromatically preceding them, and the only reason we don't rise up and rip the fins off their slimy little faces is an eternity of religious persecution and culturally immutable precedent. What does that say about the validity of the rest of the system? You consider your mind thoroughly blown. Wow, this guy is incredibly woke, and not the least bit racist at all. You're really inspired by how good he is as both an artist and a man. Damn straight. Maybe all the spectrum needs is a little chaos to shake things up. Really make you fucking think, you hear me? God, you do hear him. It makes so much sense. He makes so much sense. You make so much sense. Together. Marvus smiles at you as you hold his hands. You don't want to let go. You're afraid you'll never see him again if you do. You're not sure you can live like that. Maybe you can't be always by his side, but maybe sometimes, occasionally, all you want is to make a friend. Of course I'll be your buddy. Yeah, why don't you add me on Twitter? And next time I got lots to show, maybe I'll hook you up with some wicked tickets. V.I.P. B. Russ Emperors represent. Make sure to check out my link in my bio for merch if you're interested. The promise fills you with so much hope and light and joy. You can't believe it. You did it. You made the greatest, most ultimate friend of them all. Your shining light. Your reason for being. Marvus, the truest buddy you've ever had. True buds. Yeah. Alright, we're done. Jesus fucking Christ, that was so many words. Oh my god. Oh, I don't remember the chapter being that long when I fucking played it years ago. Hi. Anyways, that's Hiveswap Friendsim. That is chapter 16 done. We are almost done with this game. Just 2 more chapters and then an epilogue. And we are done, we are out, and we are on to fucking Pester Quest, and then we fucking move on to Friendsim 2, which I wanted to do like several months ago. Yippee! Anyways, that's all from me for this time. If you like the video, like it. If you want to see more of my content, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, have a good day and do what you do best. See ya!